everyone, welcome to the African penguin habitat here at the California Academy of Sciences. My name is Steve. This is Emma.
Hi.
And Holly is behind the camera. And we are
Hi.
Part of the team that cares for these guys. What we're going to be doing today is doing a little bit of feeding and training and sharing some interesting facts about these guys. Today's diet is two types of fish. These bigger ones are called herring, which are a little bit full of fat. And then these are capelin, which are a little bit more dense in protein. They're actually not the same types of food that these guys would be eating in South Africa. What they're eating in South Africa are fish called anchovies and sardines. Unfortunately, the lack of those two types of fish in South African waters is one of the reasons these guys are endangered, because they have been so overfished. Fortunately, herring and capelin are very similar nutritionally, but they're much more sustainable, meaning we're harvesting them in much more manageable numbers, and we're taking into account the future populations of these types of fish. I'm going to go ahead and start feeding. This is our scale, so these guys are trained to individually step onto the scale and get their fish. Feed back up.
If anyone has any questions, go ahead and let us know.
While I'm feeding, Emma here is going to be recording how much of each type of fish these guys are eating. So between monitoring their diets and checking their weights on a regular basis, that's one of the main reasons we're actually able to monitor the health of these guys. Because just like other animals, these guys can't talk and aren't able to tell us if they're not feeling well. One of the main first things that animals will do if they're not feeling well is kind of lose their appetite. So while we're able to monitor their weights and their appetites, we can make sure that these guys are healthy.
So one question we've had already is, do they eat once a day?
These guys, we offer them food twice a day, every day. They get as much food as they want. They get to eat to satiation, so they do eat as little or as much as they want during those two offerings. So sometimes they will eat quite a few, like Dunker here has been known to take down a couple dozen capelin in a sitting. And then some of our birds, if they're just not feeling hungry because they know that they're getting food twice a day, are okay skipping a meal.
All right, we'll watch for just a minute.
So this is Kianga here, and what we're doing is she has some allergies, and so we are actually training her to accept some eye drops. So that's what Emma is doing. She's got some eye drops that we're trying to get in her eye, or at least in the vicinity of her eye. You can see, because she's okay with the drops. It's just our aim that a little tricky that we need to work on.
So another question was, what is their average weight?
That is a great question. So we actually have a pretty good variety of weights here in our colony. Actually, we have the two ends. Dunker here, the red-banded and the right, is one of our largest birds. He's usually about 10 to 12 pounds is our scale.
Well, so 16 right now, that's just 500 foot on the scale.
So he's usually about 10 or 12. Ty, being one of the smallest birds, is usually around 6 5 or 6 pounds. So that's kind of like the lower end and higher end for African penguins.
Another question was, do they have names? Because I think you already mentioned a few.
They do. All of these guys do have names, and that's just for us to be able to identify them verbally. Some of them actually even know their names, like Dunker, and then of course Stanley. Stanley is a very popular bird around here, as well as I believe she has quite the internet following. But yes, they all do have names, and they're also all individually IDs by these wing bands. You'll notice, which aren't there just to look pretty. Those wing bands do identify each individual bird. And actually, if you can hear that in the background, that is one of our birds. I'm not sure who it is, but they're vocalizing. They kind of honk, and well, they're sometimes called jackass donkeys. But those wing bands, if you see a bird with a wing band on their right wing, like Pete here, he has a gray wing band on his right wing. That means Pete is male. And then down there, you'll see a bird with a gray wing band on her left wing. That's opal, and since they're matching colors, they're actually a bonded pair. So they will share a nest box. They sometimes will lay eggs together, and so they do all have names and are individually identified.